Welcome to another edition of Morning at the Mile from the Media Center at Century Mile Racetrack and Casino. I'm track announcer Ken G, along with Assistant Race Secretary Josh Murphy. We are taking a look at the card for Saturday, December 14th. 8 races on the card. First post at 7:15 p.m. And Josh, we start off the evening with a short field. Well, six in this one. Anybody going to beat Flying Officer number 6?
I don't think so. I mean, that last race to come home in 26-2, you don't see that very often. I mean, especially this time of year, that was a very, very impressive mile, I thought. Time before that, lost to Captain Terminator, who did graduate out of the non-winners for that day. I think this horse has gotten good. I don't think the post mattered. He's got an incredible closing kick, as he showed. I think he's definitely the horse to beat in here. He's a key in the double for me.
I think the challenge here is to put together a trifecta. I'm taking Flying Officer on top, but I also like West Central Beach, some improvement there, as well as Rock and Roll Dragon, who's always close to the pace.
I threw Joe King in there for my second pick. A horse that, you look at the bottom of his form, was competitive, winning non-4 second. Kind of has had some good races, some bad races, kind of a bit inconsistent, but a horse that does have the ability and maybe might drift up a little from the morning line.
I'm going to save my money on Joe King. I've bet that one too much in the last few weeks and been disappointed at just no consistency for me. So
I can't fault you there.
No. Second race is the second half of the early daily double. I'm going to take a bunch in this one because I think this one might be a little more wide open than the first leg. I like Silent Rescue on top, but I also like Outlaw Stand and Deliver and a little bit faster.
I thought Outlaw Stand and Deliver was a standout for me in this race. Another one that Kelly Hort's getting aggressive with. I know he was at the 5 of the last time, but he did claim for 75, had been racing up there. Thought last time raced very well, though. Out of the 8 hole, came flying late just to get beat a nose. Now goes from the 8 to the rail. Brandon Campbell does have to drive a little bit faster for his dad, but Mike Hennessy does pick up the drive. Should get a good position, should be able to get away, more involved in the pace. I think this is just a good spot for him. Silent Rescue merits a lot of respect, obviously. Going to have probably the controlling speed in here. I'd think Hey, all right, maybe wants to go, but Silent Rescue will have to work a bit to get out of there from the 7 hole. He did look good too back, but last time beating it under even money for me. I think Outlaw Stand and Deliver is probably a better bet.
My only concern about this one is if Outlaw Stand and Deliver and Silent Rescue hook up on the front end and that speed caves, maybe somebody else comes through and inherits the win.
Probably a little bit faster, I think, can pass some horses. Has shown it before. I think Outlaw Stand and Deliver is content to sit probably second, third, though. We'll see.
Third race is the final for the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings in the Century Milers Pacing Series. This is also the start of the Pick 3, and Pick 3 is at a 15% takeout rate, a great low rate for that bet, and has been paying very well in the last several weeks. Josh, in this one, who can be second to Dizzy Dean? Now, that's the assumption that Dizzy Dean is the single.
Yeah, I think Dizzy Dean's looked so good, won both races in the series. I don't think you beat him. He's beat this group before. I don't see any reason gets the fence not to do it again. I think you kind of take him, key him in the Pick 3, move on. But I'd probably throw King of the West in for a bit of a price. I thought raced okay last time. A horse that hadn't been seen since the 6th of October and then raced twice in the Century Miler Series. Probably was getting a little tighter. A good second and a good third in it. 12-1 morning line. Got a bit of tactical speed. I think King of the West is a horse that probably will be undervalued once again, and I think probably underneath has as good a shot as anyone to finish second.
Along with King of the West, I've also thrown in Wink and Win. You know, a foregone conclusion, Dizzy Dean, famous last words, right? But it's always a good idea maybe to grab a bomber for second if you're playing at second and third.
What do you think of HF OPEX Trident, who was a long shot, hadn't really shown much, but raced a good second last time, mind Dizzy Dean to be beaten a length?
The second in the second leg, you know, I just can't get convinced on that one. I'm wondering if that's a one-hit wonder.
I'd probably wait and see again. I'd probably take King of the West at 12-1 before I take him at 6-1. Yeah. But, you know, this is the one race, whether he improves off and races well or, like you say, a one-hit wonder. Probably wait and see approach for me one more time.
The fourth race, which is a non-winners of 2 or 9,500 lifetime. There's a trifecta wager available in this one. And in this one, I think we have some proven winners in this one, but we also have some knocking at the door.
I thought this was probably the toughest race all weekend to handicap. I really had a tough time with this race. Wind Rider and Burnt Promises are probably the logical two, but they were in 5-horse fields last time, had good posts. I mean, Burnt Promises, 2 rails in a row, couldn't get it done, now goes to the 8 hole. Wind Rider was a heavy favorite last time and just raced kind of flat. The horse, I've liked him for the past couple weeks, and he's disappointed me. He's been trick shot. He's broken 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
But that race 3 back where he came home in 27-2, beaten the neck by Kootenai Lager, if he could race that, I think he wins in here. I'm not convinced on Windrider and Burnt Promises, who are going to be short prices. Couldn't get it done in a short field last time, and now moved to the outside post positions. I just think there's some other horses that maybe even Carl P. Thunder. I don't know. I'm kind of searching here, but I'd probably be hesitant against Windrider and Burnt Promises based on last week.
Well, Trick Shot scares me, breaking 2 races in a row. I'm going to walk away from that one. I like Windrider. I think Windrider's the proven one here who's won, but just is a little inconsistent, which is why I'm going to probably put Windrider and Burnt Promises at about the same level as my top choice in this round. I'm also looking at Big Engine as a winner at this level. Previously, he's kind of gone sideways the last few weeks, but still has won at this level.
I think one that probably needs one. I do agree he fits right well with this group, but hasn't been seen since the 3rd of November. Probably need one. My big dilemma in this race was what's more scary, betting Windrider was under even money and beaten last time, or betting Trick Shot is broken 2 times in a row. It's kind of a tough one, but it's a very interesting race. Maybe Carl P. Thunder races better from the fence. I'm not sure, but I think this is a very, very competitive race in a lot of ways you can go.
All right, so maybe going wide on this one, which is the second leg of the early pick 3. 5th race is the first leg of the pick 4, again with a 15% very low takeout rate. We offer a superfecta wagering as well in this one. There are 9 horses in this field, and for this one, after Big Sure, to me it was wide open.
Yeah, this race, it's the same group as basically last week, a new face or 2, but I mean, there's 4 of them across the wire there. I mean, Jake LMNO was forced beaten in neck last week. It was a very exciting finish. I think Big Sure, once again, no reason not to pick her. Other than the bad start out of the 8-hole 2-back, she's been very consistent. Had the rail last time, gets a 2-hole this time. I threw Big Bad Goldie in there for second. I thought she likes to come from out of it anyways. Came home in 27-3. Did have a bit of time off between the 22nd of November and the 7th of December, but now another race again. Should be a little fitter here, I think, because prior to that hadn't raced since the 25th of October. So I think he might be getting a little into form here. But I think Big Sure and Big Bad Goldie are the 2. What do you make of Northfield Nelly? A horse that was super consistent in here, but last time kind of disappointed.
You know, I love Big Sure as a single in the pick 4 for this one, but I think you can make a case for just about everyone here. Northfield Nelly, consistency except for that last one, and I'm looking at the track, was also rated as good. And also the other one where she finished 7th, the track was also rated as good. So maybe did not like the footing on the track. It was a kind of an ugly night when Northfield Nelly went. That would be the only knock against Northfield, just depending on what the track conditions are like.
Yeah, I guess you can, same thing for Big Sure. You can argue that 2-back, she didn't race that well. I know the outside post, but if you can draw a line through a bad race, these horses have class. They've proven they compete at this level. I'm not as confident as you. I do want probably Big Sure, Big Bad Goldie, and Northfield Nelly, but.
Well, and even looking Made in Alberta closed like a monster in that last one. Bearcat Josie closed 6 lengths.
No Mofo Joe 2-back won this condition.
Go away and play 1, but it was in a short field. And even JK LMNO, I think the Superfecta is probably a really good bet for this race. If you want to play Big Sure on top, maybe for $1 Superfecta, you could play a bunch on the bottom.
Yeah, I think in this, you either kind of key Big Sure, you kind of go 3 or 4 deep in here. I think it's one of those kind of all or nothing races. You obviously like the single in here. I'm probably going to be a little more hesitant and spread, but then I'll have to cut down later in the card.
All right, well, if you don't want to spend the money and you want to lose a leg, maybe go for the pick 3 in the next race, which is the 6th race.
Maybe play both.
Play both if I had your
Why
money,
not?
Josh. Fillies and Mares claiming handicap in this one. Again, it's the first leg of the late pick 3 as well. We have Superfecta wagering in this one. 9 horses again in this one. Now, this is the one I had the most trouble with. A very wide open race. Yeah. Kaylee Sky's a great horse. Ginger Beer, Summer Fantasy. Like, who do you go with? There's 3 or 4.
I went to take on the boys.
Really?
This one was claimed 3 back, won first off the claim for 5, and then raced a good second last time out of the 6 hole. This horse was loaded down the lane, was down on the pylon, just was trying to navigate in between horses. Never really got a ton of clear racing room, but I think with the fence here was right there with these horses last time. And Ginger Beer obviously is the one to beat, don't get me wrong, but I think take on the boys. I think if he had a cleaner trip last time, he could have been right there. He still was right there. Thomas Miller's done well with this horse, and I think he's just might get that perfect trip, and I think could be an all right price.
Okay, so here's my here's my take on this because it's completely different from yours. I really like Kaylee Sky. Kaylee Sky has really established herself at this level, and I think is hard to beat. Look at the record: 3rd, first, 5th, 2nd. pretty hard to argue against that one. Then Ginger Beer, with the exception of that stinker that was thrown out 2 races ago, and I mean, there was driver changes. That can always happen when
Brandon gets back on board
Brandon
now.
gets- right.
We have a good. I mean, she's won 4 of her last 5 on form. Brandon's back
Right.
on board.
But look at this one, 4 starts ago at the 9,000 handicap level and still was a winner. So, I think that the best is yet to come, maybe still from Ginger Beer. Also, Take on Du Bois, I don't mind so much. I'm almost wondering if at this level that was a one-off for that performance. The second place in the last one. I also kind of like Summer Fantasy again. Summer Fantasy is one that has lost a lot of attention just because of not being able to get the win, but I wouldn't discount that one either.
What do you do with One Kid Gone? Won by 9 at this level 2 back and was kind of maybe bounced last time. What do you make of her?
I look at the odds, one at 11 to 1. I don't know. I'm just not going to throw my money on top with that one. I think an on top horse, I don't know. Again, if you play in the superfecta, maybe this is one where you play a 20-cent super and you box a bunch of horses.
You look at her post, so 7-6, then was the trailing 9-8-6. This is about the first time she's kind of been inside in a while and on the gate. So
yeah,
I don't know. She's an interesting one, but yeah, this is another tough race in the pick 4 and to kick off the pick 3.
All right, so maybe going wide in the pick 3. How about in the 7th race? We're looking at that one. It's condition claiming 12-5. Non-winners of 1801. First half of the late daily double as well. I'm just wondering in this one because it seems like all of my choices are on the outside. Can anybody inside make a dent?
Yeah, you have to wonder that. The horse that maybe you wonder if he can make a dent. You look at Prairie Mystic 3 back the day he was claimed. You look who he beat that day, Canadian Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Canadian Pharaoh is arguably going to be the favorite in here, paced in 54-2 that day. Apagakura, I hope I'm saying that right. I struggle with that name. I know you're the expert there, but he seems to kind of get a piece. HF the Great Pumpkin has some talent when he paced in 54-4 a few back in the Super Final Consolation, but up at the non-winners 1201 level just hasn't looked quite as good. Mortgage My Villa, probably not. The one I went to was Marlin's Magic. I just thought, scratch, but then you look at his races when he raced Icy Blue Scooter. We saw win the 50 grander at Fraser last week. Then raced okay in 1801. Well, more than okay, did win, and then was in the 4-year-old condition with the open horses. Didn't race that well. And then was in the preferred 2 out of the 7 hole, was favored behind Jules Dragon, Appellate, Canadian Pharaoh. This horse has faced some tough horses twice, has been kind of combined with the open horses. I just think back at this level with no Icy Blue Scooter, no Fanatical Maniac, no Sabine Pass, horses that are open horses that he'd been knocking heads with. He doesn't face in here, gets a better post position than most of the ones in his class. So I just kind of lean to him. Mike Hennessy did drive Canadian Pharaoh last time, but does end up on Marlin. I just think at 6-1, I'll give him the nod.
You know what? My top choices are on the outside. Canadian Pharaoh is my top choice, by the way. Close second would be Real Buzz, and then Gray Z as my third choice coming off that win in his last race. I find it hard to support the ones on the inside just because they seem to be, to me, one-offs. I probably would go with 3 horses in this one if I'm going to be playing the double or even for the third leg of the pick 4. Second leg of the pick 3?
Yeah, I'd probably just go a couple in here. I think Marlon's Magic's just been pretty battle tested in here. But yeah, no, I kind of lean towards the outside horses too. They just look a little better to me.
All right, now if we're talking about wide open for a bet, it's the jackpot high 5 in the 8th race, claiming 7,500. And don't forget, we have a very low 10% takeout rate on the high 5. Also have superfecta wagering in this race. And in this one, Josh, I'm wondering Cajun Beat, rate as high as I'm rating that one.
When I looked at this race, I kind of spread in the others. I was going to have a single in here in the pick 4. I like Chalk Player for Don Howlett. I just thought this horse, he's been kind of inconsistent, but you look, when Brandon Campbell's been driving him, qualified very well, was second beating a neck to Bad Blood, second beating a neck to Marlin's Magic, who we're seeing in the last race, what kind of horses he's facing. Brandon gets along very well with this horse. Didn't race so well 2 back, but then even last time against the 75 claimers, raced decent. Brandon knows this horse very well, gets back on board, gets a reasonable post, and I think could be a half okay price. But if I got through the first few legs or the first 3 legs and was single to Chalk Player, I think I'd be kind of excited. Chalk
Player would be one of the ones that I'd be keying in a multi-race wager. I really like Cajun Beat, just a proven record. He's coming off second, third, first, second, first. Hard to argue against that record. You want to talk consistency, though. I think that one might get overlooked in this one is Sherburne's Blue. Sherburne's Blue, out of 36 starts this year, 8, 10, and 6. That's an incredible seasonal record for a horse. And to be at 15-1 on the morning line, what were you thinking?
My thing was that two back he raced with the Open 75 claimers, and he was 16-1, was fifth, had the 2-hole. Right now, I think he's still probably a cut below some of these. I mean, you look at horses like Chalk Player have been pacing 56, and Sherburne's Blue is an honest horse, raced for a great cause. You always like to see him do well for that reason. But I just think he's probably a cut below these right now. And my other thing was Cajun Beat. I know he'll probably take some money, but he's been the favorite last 2 times, hasn't won. I just think this is a good spot to pick Chalk Player. That's why I had a few question marks with Cajun Beat. Bad Blood, I think, fits very well at this level, but has been inconsistent. I think he'll probably wake up in here once again, but a horse that just didn't race that well last time for me. But then you got a couple droppers on the outside, which is kind of what I'm not sure what to do with. Snoop the Lion probably needs a race, I'm thinking. And Southwind Jensen, didn't race Bad Vine Grazy and Freedom's Rescue Tally Ho last time. But, if I can get through the first few legs of these multis and end up with Chalk Player Keat, I think he'll be an okay price, and I think he's got a pretty good shot.
And don't forget about Northern Titan as well, getting sort of an inside post in the trailing position. And just wanted to mention as well, Sherburne's Blue races for MS Research this month. 75% of Sherburne's Blue's winnings get donated to MS Research. All right, so just wanted to do a shout out to James, who was our week 1 winner in our Cappers Challenge here at Century Mile, the first week that we offered a handicapping contest. It's at noon every Wednesday, and don't forget that we have weekly cash prizes for the top 3 winners, and also the top 3 that finish every week automatically qualify for the grand prize final in March. $2,500 going to the grand prize winner. And best of all, it is free to enter. So just want to review also the remaining race dates that we have. Next Friday, December 20th, 7:15 p.m. before Christmas, and then back again on Boxing Day with an afternoon card, 1:15 p.m. And then New Year's Eve, we're going to be ringing in the new year with a 7:15 p.m. card. Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of Morning at the Mile. Good luck to you.
There you go.